There are disasters that arrive with fire. Some arrive with flood, a silent and relentless drowning of the world we once knew. And then there are the rare, unspeakable incidents that arrive on the invisible back of a warm wind and settle over a room like a biological grudge. Such was the crop dusting of Hogs and Heifers. Between April 10th and 12th, 2026, a terrible event allegedly unfolded inside a certain Western-themed drinking establishment at a casino plaza in Las Vegas, where dozens of internet-adjacent degenerates gathered and through a combination of diet, enthusiasm, and catastrophic self-expression rendered the atmosphere nearly ungovernable. Witnesses described waves, not of violence, not of panic, of odor, heavy, repeated, low-altitude atmospheric attacks carried out in close quarters against an unsuspecting population of drunk straight men who had entered merely hoping for the ordinary degradations of casino life and instead found themselves trapped inside what can only be described as a gastrointestinal insurrection. It was not a party, it was a gas leak with wristbands. The room reportedly became unbearable in stages. First came the noise, abrupt brassy expulsions with all the pageantry of a broken tuba. Then came the smell rolling through the establishment in hot sulfuric chapters, each one worse than the last, until the bar itself seemed less like a business and more like a condemned agricultural experiment. And hovering over all of it, as always, was the brittle moral authority of ownership, that uniquely American figure who treats even the mildest criticism of their establishment like a federal hate crime. There are some people who receive a negative mention and move on with the mature shrug of adults. And then there are those who respond as if they've been personally bayoneted by literature. The sort who leave comment essays under videos, not comments, essays, manifestos, book reports written in the wet heat of wounded vanity, each one longer than the event that upset them, each one trembling with the kind of hyper-defensive outrage usually reserved for zoning disputes and inherited curses. You mentioned the place smelled bad for one weekend, and suddenly you're reading 1,400 words of aggrieved frontier jurisprudence written by someone who seems to believe criticism is a form of livestock theft. That is part of the tragedy too. Not just the air, the sensitivity, the inability to let even a glancing insult pass without producing a written response of such length and emotional overinvestment that it starts to feel less like public relations and more like a hostage note from a chandelier. So, yes, the crop dusting of Hogs and Heifers will be remembered, not as a scandal, not as a triumph, but as a cautionary tale, a 3-day methane siege in a tourist corridor, a moment when the frontier spirit met the intestinal spirit and both lost. And somewhere in the aftermath, while the smell still clung to the stools and the last offended gamblers staggered back into the casino, blinking through the haze, one truth remained. Some businesses survive criticism. Others type through it. Also, if your official crisis response reads like a 6th grade book report written during a custody battle, it may be time to log off. That was the joke.